Welcome back to another video on the channel. So today I'm going to go through my Nintendo 64 collection. I know I briefly showed it in one of my earlier collection videos, but I never went through the full thing yet. So I'm going to go through each one. Let me know if any of these games were games that you played when you were younger or even currently play. I'd love to hear. And of course I'll tell you what all of my favorites are. So starting off, we have a Diddy Kong Racing. I do try to make sure all of my games have as close to perfect labels as possible. So when I'm purchasing any new game, that is something I'm always looking for. I don't even know where I got this one, but Monopoly. So yeah, some of these games were also my brothers and sisters' games. So I have not even played all of them, but I'll tell you again which ones were always my favorites. Star Wars: Shadow of the Empire. Now I'm a huge Star Wars fan of the original movies, so I did play a lot of Star Wars video games growing up. My parents got me into Star Wars very young. I'm grateful for that. Jet Force, Gemini. I feel like I remember playing this one maybe once or twice. Just gonna stack them here. If any of them are dirty, I will also clean them, but hopefully these should be pretty clean. Yeah, like this one I don't know, it must have been one of my brothers. I'm not really a soccer fan, so. FIFA 99. This one was definitely mine. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And you'll see this label is not perfect, but that's okay. This is one that I played so much as a kid. Buck Bumble, I don't even know what this one is. And I don't remember playing it either. So the only thing I can think of again is it was one of my siblings. And we all shared games growing up, so I don't know, I think we all just had our specific games we always went to. Hey You, Pikachu. So I'm also a huge Pokemon fan, and I definitely remember playing this one. I also got into Pokemon pretty young, so I think that was one of the games I played prior to really becoming obsessed with Pokemon. Once Game Boy Color came out, Banjo, Tooie. I loved these games. And I do have a few of them. They were always kind of challenging for me though. Honestly, most of these games are challenging for me now. I definitely do not play as much as I used to. And then here is Banjo-Kazooie. This this one is kind of not in the best condition. There's actually some sticker residue on the back of this one. I don't know if I can get it off with just this. I might have to use something else. But yeah, I might set this one aside. I also see some yellow discoloration on this one. But again, it's surprising to me that honestly, some of these from my childhood look as good as they look, because I know they have been thrown around and played so much over the years. Perfect Dark. Another game I loved. Actually picked this up and played it recently just for a little bit. It's definitely a favorite. Pokemon Stadium. Another Pokemon favorite. Next is GoldenEye. So if you played a Nintendo 64, you likely played this at least once. I just remember being blown away by this game, thinking it was, I don't even know, just unbelievable. And playing it today is just so funny to look back and see what impressed us as kids. But that's why it's part of the collection. It's one of the classics. WCW versus NWO World Tour. So I didn't play this one growing up, but I actually did watch wrestling a lot in the 90s. I had brothers who were really into it, so probably know way more about wrestling than anybody could ever guess. But looking back, I think that era of wrestling was just something that will probably never happen again. So it was cool to watch it back then. Pilotwing 64. There is something on the front that I'm going to have to work on getting off. So I'll have to do that later. Gauntlet Legends. It's the next one. A lot of people ask me how I store my games. I don't really have the best setup right now, but I do just keep everything on shelves, which again I show in my collection videos. I think eventually I want to get maybe enclosed shelving, just so it doesn't get as dusty. I am constantly dusting throughout the week. Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So I'm actually just going to cover one part of this one, just because it does have one of my siblings' names on the front, which I should really try to get off. It looks like it's just in a blue pen. I'm just so afraid of damaging the label, so never tried yet. Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I do remember playing this. There was a time period I was so into everything dinosaur related. So I really liked playing this. And then, of course, Jurassic Park games. Resident Evil 2. So this one definitely needs to be cleaned. There's some old sticker residue there. So I did play this a lot. It's funny, I just watched a few of the Resident Evil movies. And they're not great, in my opinion, but I was just really bored. Pokemon Snap, which is now, well, it's been available on Switch. I haven't played it on Switch yet, but I do remember just finding this game so relaxing. Just taking pictures of Pokemon. And now this one was definitely a favorite. However, I was never good at Donkey Kong games. Donkey Kong 64. I do love the yellow cartridge. There's something up here I'm going to try to get off. Okay, it came off a little bit, but I might have to just get some water. Doom 64, another classic. Is anybody excited for the Doom game coming out next year? I definitely am. So I did love playing this, as well as really all Doom games, but I have this problem now where I get really sick playing the game, so I haven't been playing too much. Star Fox 64, I was obsessed with. I remember building some of the characters out of Legos in the ship. Just one of my favorite memories. Majora's Mask. It's funny because when I first played this back in the day, I wasn't a huge fan, but I appreciate it a lot more now. So this, of course, has the holographic cover on the front and the gold cartridge. And I'm a huge Zelda fan, so of course I'm just going to keep that in the collection. And then probably my top Nintendo 64 game of all time, Ocarina of Time. I always suggest that people play this game, even if you're playing it on a 3DS, which has a little bit better graphics, or you could even play it on GameCube. It's also not bad. It's just such a special game to me, and I know it is to so many people. Just the music, the story, the characters, everything. Rush to Extreme Racing USA. I have no clue where this is from, so that's one of the things I've considered, like, would I ever try to sell some of the games that I really don't care about? But I don't know, since I know this was from my family and from growing up, I've just been holding on to them. But if I ever want to downsize some of the collections, I might do that. Yoshi's Story, I love Yoshi. And I always loved playing this game. Really any Yoshi game. Kirby 64, the crystal shards is next. And this kind of looks like the color has faded a little bit, unfortunately. Or maybe that's just how it is. I'm not really sure. Might have to investigate. Then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I was a huge fan of every Tony Hawk game, so I was excited to play it on a Switch when it came out. Can't remember when that was, but it was cool to play with updated graphics. Now Mario Golf is next. I was never really a fan of the sports games, but out of all of them, I think the golf ones were the most fun to me. I think these go in order. Okay, so Mario Party. I don't know if there's, again, anybody who didn't play this, if they owned a Nintendo 64 or if they had a friend who did. So Mario Party, then Mario Party 2. And then Mario Party 3. And it's so cool that even today, Mario Party games are so popular and are still being created. Mario Tennis, another sports title. This one was pretty good too. This one does have some sticker residue on the back, which I should probably get off. Paper Mario. I love the Paper Mario games. The 1,000-Year Door is my favorite. But, of course, had to have this one in the collection as well. And this is one that was not mine from childhood. This is one that I think we had, but we lost, so I did have to purchase this. Super Smash Brothers. Another Mario classic. And still today, just such a popular game. It's just so good to play with friends when they come over. Especially if you are competitive. And this was another one I picked up earlier this year. Mario Kart 64. We did have it growing up, but it's lost. So glad I was able to find that. And then lastly, I guess this would probably be my second favorite Nintendo 64 game, and it's not hard to guess. Super Mario 64. Love this game. Put so many hours into this game. It's just so good. Even just looking at it makes me want to play it again soon. Just another one that kind of has a special place in my heart. Very nostalgic. So that's it. That's my Nintendo 64 collection. Let me know if you'd like to see this for my other collections. I can go into more detail for those two about what my favorite games are, or if there's any stories behind finding them and collecting them. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.